Hey, welcome everyone to the first episode of the Northwest Indoor Golf Show. And today I'm joined with a special guest, Martin Borgmeier, 2018 Long Drive European Champion and World Long Drive athlete. And today we've got some points that we want to discuss. But first, welcome to Martin. How's it going?
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me. You actually forgot about one important thing, and that's I hit the world record ball in March 2020. The only good thing that happened in 2020.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So for anyone who's unsure, is it 230.9 miles per hour ball speed?
231.9.
231.9. Wow. Okay. So that 1 mile an hour makes all the difference in that instance.
It does.
And that was your trip to the US when you went to play one of the World Long Drive events. Which one was it?
I was actually planning to play 6 events because it was just before COVID hit, and I was flying out to the US because Trump actually declared that borders will close by Friday, and that day it was Wednesday. And I was in Turkey preparing for my season, and I decided, okay, I basically have to go to the US now to be able to compete in all these events, right? Because in my head, at that point of time, you didn't know. In the morning, you didn't know what's going to happen in the evening. So I decided, okay, I got to fly out to the US to be able to compete because they shut down their borders. The virus stays outside of the US. Now we know way better. But that day I thought it's not going to hit the US, and they just continue normal life and play their events. And I wanted to play these events. So that's why I flew out. And actually during that flight, things completely changed. So like 4 of the 6 events I was planning to play, or whatever, I had photo shoots with Callaway and all these different things, were actually canceled. So I was, because I was just flying out to Charlotte because it was the first city or the first flight I could catch. And then decided to fly down to Miami to see Bobby Bradley at his indoor facility at Five Star Custom Golf. And I was just hitting a couple of balls. Basically, I didn't plan to hit a world record ball there, but he was actually teasing me because he went live on Instagram and he was like, Kyle hit his 230.2 ball here, Martin. Do you think you're going to break it? Because you had this 230 ball on your foresight. And nobody really believed that number. I mean, you cannot fake numbers, especially ball speed numbers on foresight. Sure. But and for some reason, no one really believed that one. And then I think it was my 9th or 10th swing. I actually hit that quite in the middle of the face, so it was a good one. And then the 231.9 popped up, and you can tell by the video that I was quite happy.
I'm gonna cut a reaction clip into this for when we put it.
That's a good one.
YouTube, yeah, for sure. So
we got Martin hanging out at the here in West Palm Beach. Oh! If anybody had any doubt right there.
So obviously this has been a journey for you. We've had an awful year with COVID. The European season was cancelled as well. Obviously, travel restrictions, which is not ideal. So let's delve into some of your training and some of your practice to sort of explain how you're staying on top of your game going forward. So when we do get back to season, you can hit the ground running and get competing again. So what's your routine looking like just now?
Yeah, I guess as soon as I know when I have to compete, I need like 3 weeks to be at my fastest, right? You cannot be as fast as you cannot be your fastest all year long. It's impossible, right? It's not like Usain Bolt is sprinting his 9.53 or whatever it is all year long whenever you call him, right? You have to practice to peak at a certain point of time. And what I do right now is mostly technique practice. So during winter right now, I try to maintain my speed as good as I can, doing speed training once a week. But most of what I'm doing right now is very technique based. And what I'm basically doing is working on my efficiency and on my versatility, because I really want to be as versatile as possible out there to be able to to hit different shot shapes, right? To be able to hit the low spinning fade when it's wind off the left, for example, or down off the left or whatever. So to be able to react to different conditions. So that's what I'm working on. And the more efficient I can swing, the more balls I can hit, because it's not as hard on my body, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Because I'm just trying to maximize the efficiency right now, because there's no point in trying to gain even more speed right now, because it would be gone by whenever we can compete. Probably don't know, realistically in June, July, September, whenever. Might be interesting to rewatch this in 2021 when we haven't had a season or something, I don't know. But we don't know right now, because I mean, what's happening in Europe right now is devastating. And I mean, the problem is probably not, at some point we can set up events with certain restrictions, obviously, in a country, but long drive is so international. So there's no point in hosting an event in Germany, a big one or whatever, with like 5 professionals showing up, because we have like 5 decent pros in Germany, right? We need the international field, and traveling is what restricts us to have big events right now. But let's see how it goes, right? I mean, I'm grateful to have my cave right now, because I'm at my office right now at Golf Cave Munich. You can see that green screen in the back, so I'm taking a couple of videos here as well and doing different things. So basically working all day long at the cave and bouncing back and forth between my desk and basically hitting balls. And I'm working on a lot of irons as well, so it's not like blasting drivers all day, because the iron swing is actually the foundation of my long drive swing as well. And when I'm working on certain parts, for example, the efficiency stuff, I'm also doing efficiency drills, ground reaction force drills, and whatnot with irons, right, to eventually transfer that to my long drive swing. But the very foundation is the iron game, and that's why I also hit a lot of irons.
And of course, with the irons, you can increase the volume because it's not as demanding on your body as hitting drivers. So you could substitute a session of 100 drivers with 200 iron shots to really dial in the technique. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, because don't know, just talking speed wise, let's say a 150 long drive swing, which is quite fast, would be a 120 swing on a 6-iron for me, right? Yep. So that's like, what's that in percent? That's 30 miles less. That's a huge difference, right? So what I feel like, there's downsides obviously as well, because you hit way more down on the ball. So hitting down on the ball on mats is a different story, because it's a bit harder on your wrists. But everyone's got, it depends on the mat as well, right? But everyone's got different, let's say, weak points of their body. Others might feel more comfortable hitting a lot of drives because they're not as fast. But for me, it's definitely the iron game that helps me the most, and that I can hit the most, because I can hit 200 irons in, like, don't know, 2 hours here. And I feel like I've not done much, but that's not always been the case. That's hitting endurance I was working on over the last couple of years, right? I'm doing this for 3.5 years now. And in the very beginning, when I was hitting probably like 60 shots, I had probably had to sleep for 3 days straight to be able to do it again, right? So the rest periods and the hitting endurance is something that I was basically automatically also working on whilst hitting and working on technique.
Cool, and that's interesting as well. You're saying about the rest period, the recovery period that you need after you've hit those balls as well, because you do take time to build up to that level of what's the word, that level of stamina almost. It takes that time. And I mean, I know, because this year I've had a lot of stuff going on. We've just started this new business. We're here in the Northwest Indoor Golf Studio, and I've not had any time to practice, nowhere near as much time as I would like. And I mean, I'm slow right now, and also the stamina isn't there. You feel it after you're hitting that 100 balls. So if we talk about the practical application of this for most golfers, because distance is obviously a trend in golf now, how do you apply these long drive theories to practical golf? Because I know you're doing a lot of speed training work at the minute with clients remotely. You're prioritizing speed training and trying to get these people faster throughout the bag. Maybe not so much efficiency. Is that fair to say, or is it more just the speed aspect?
Well, it's actually both. So I would say the efficiency side of things is more in the technique, and the raw speed we try to push as much as possible is basically the speed training, right? So without changing a single bit of the technique of a client, I can push their raw speed by doing speed training, and all of a sudden they hit it like 1.5, 2 clubs longer over a period of time, obviously. But that has nothing to do with the technique side of things. But I guess when I'm talking long drive technique and what of these moves make sense to apply to the golf technique, obviously we're doing things a lot more extreme when doing long drive, right? Look at the trigger move, for example. At the very beginning, we're moving to the right and move back to the left, push off to the right, and all these things. So there's a lot of motion inside of these short periods of time, because don't know, the long drive swing is probably like, it takes 1 second, right? Boom, 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 then it's done, right? But there's a lot of motion happening during that period of time to be at your max. But remember, we have 6 tries when doing long drive, right? Not every single one of them needs to be perfect. We really try to find that one perfect shot, right? In golf, it's the exact opposite. So we try to be fast in golf, yes, and it helps a lot, but we actually try to hit our best miss hit, right? We want our miss hits to not be that bad, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So that's well, part of the technique, but also part of the equipment, right? When I'm fitting for long drive or fitting a club for long drive, it's a completely different story than fitting for golf, right? Because when I'm hitting a miss hit in long drive, it doesn't matter if it's like 200 yards OB or 5 yards OB. It's OB, right? It doesn't matter.
It's gone. Yeah.
It's gone. In golf, ball in the first cut compared to one deep in the woods is a completely different story, right? It's probably a 3 shot difference eventually, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a completely different story. But with most clients, I'm actually working on their raw speed and putting them on a speed regimen that makes sense, right, for them. And some moves, depending on, because I always want them to send me their swing. So when I see they're seriously lacking a power source, or they don't apply the correct way, or they have no movement at all in their swing, I try to make them, that's actually the number one go-to when someone is really rooted, right? And they don't move at all, right? They don't use their potential to apply a force. Then I make them move to the right side just a little bit by a little trigger move, right? And that automatically adds speed, because you basically, it's almost like extending the backswing a little bit, right? There's simply more motion and it applies more force. But it's it's a fine line between having nothing and having too much. So you need to play around a little bit with it, what makes sense for you in golf. But definitely the trend is there that people saw, especially in statistics as well, that driving distance on tour equals prize money, right? And also points. And that's why all these guys try to hit it longer and eventually faster, because to hit it longer, you need to be faster. And actually what you get is a double benefit, because number one, you hit it longer, so you have less distance to the pin, but you also need less club. So it's both. So let's say you hit it 10 yards longer, or your drive or whatever is 10 yards longer, and you need actually, compared to your old distance, you would need 1 club less. Now, as you're faster and you hit it longer, you need 2 clubs less. And I mean, everybody knows hitting an 8-iron into a green is a huge difference to hitting a 6-iron.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I guess looking at the application of this from a teaching point of view, one of the things I've really been preaching to a lot of the guys I'm teaching at the minute is work hard, practice hard, play easy. So actually, when you go into the driving range, when you're in the studio, hit balls at your limit or near to your limit. Is that something you agree with?
I wouldn't do it. I would not do it all the time, but
Yeah, for
there's
sure.
definitely, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would not go to a studio and hit 100 balls as fast as I can and then leave. Right? No, I wouldn't do
for
it.
sure.
Obviously, there's technique parts and stuff as well. But yes, that going all out and go as hard as possible at a ball at practice really pushes your body and actually shows your body, hey, dude, you can swing faster, right? And you simply have to apply it. You simply have to do it. And that more or less unlocks speed.
Yeah,
right?
because people probably have speed that they don't even know about because they're never pushing themselves to the limit. So I'm going to pick my word in carefully, but I think you're right. Not all the time, just to clarify.
Yeah.
But you should be actually taking advantage of some of those sessions where you are going and you are just saying, I need to be fast today and I need to hit it hard today. Yeah, for sure.
And I would actually do that in the very beginning of a session combined with a speed training, just a speed cycle you go through with speed stakes, with an impact bag or something, an object you hit, some resistance drills, and then go through a couple of wedges and irons and then go to the driver and hit it. And all of that happens within like 20 minutes.
And you keep that speed up through the back of the set because it doesn't just disappear when you...
Yeah, exactly. And when you do it in the very beginning, you're fresh. So you're faster, like naturally, right? And you keep that speed up, and it actually, what it's hitting is it hits your nervous system. That tells your body, so your muscles, hey guys, you can swing faster. And I like to compare it to a car. So your body, your muscles is your engine, and the nervous system and the speed training you do is your gas pedal, right? Because if you have a huge engine, look at all these bodybuilders, they're not fast because they cannot push down the gas pedal. But if you have an awesome gas pedal, but you don't have a huge engine, there is a limit to your speed. So it's both sides, obviously. And then you need tires, then you need a good driver, then you need a good street and all that stuff, right? So there's more to it, right? But it's pretty good to have a huge engine and a gas pedal first. And then there's style, obviously, right? You need a nice car as well.
So you've got this facility in Munich. This is Golf Cave, and I'm going to just share the link for that below the Instagram page. You do put some of your drills up there, things you do. What kind of value do you find in indoor practice? Because, I mean, I've brought all of my teaching indoors, and I have my own opinions of why I think it's way better than hitting exclusively on a driving range. And we'll come back to them in a minute. But what do you think in regards indoor practice? Because you practice indoor all season long for the most part, right?
Yeah. So there's only one downside to indoor golf, and that's you always have a perfect lie. But when was the last time, ask your clients, when was the last time you've practiced a rough shot or a, don't know, divot lie or bad lie or whatever? Wherever you go at the driving ranges, it's mats anyways, right? Or if it's a grass like surface, they pick the good spots anyways, right? So that's because that's always what people tell me. Yeah, you always have a good lie. And then I ask them, like, when was the last time you've tried or you've practiced a bad lie?
Yeah, I imagine
never happens, right?
Yeah,
never happens. So then what you get indoors, you get raw data, right? So you get sterile data you can work with. So you can obviously turn on the wind and the altitude and all these things, but what you actually want to work with is raw data. And that's why where I work with Foresight. Do you have a Foresight machine as well?
I have TrackMan 4.
You're using TrackMan? Okay.
Yeah.
How long is your flight distance? So
that's the reason, travel? Actually. I've got nearly 24 feet of ball flight. So with the camera enhancement and the metallic dots, the data comes back really good. I tested it against a quad unit, but for me, I have a double-sided hitting bay. I have plenty of space, so it made complete sense for me. Yeah,
that makes sense, obviously. But I have like, don't know, 2.5 meters, 2.7.
10 feet so, yeah.
That's not enough. That's not enough for a TrackMan, especially at my speed, because when it catches some data, it never reads the spin correctly, because simply for any radar system, it's not only TrackMan, any radar system is having a hard time seeing these balls because they're so fast, and how the way they measure spin, they're having a hard time to actually see the spin within that distance, because it doesn't make enough rotations till it hits the screen. But I work with a quad unit. You have a TrackMan for whatever you use, you get data, and using that data and knowing that data is so powerful. And I know that most clients don't know the data, and when they know the data, they don't know what they're looking for. And that's actually something that completely changed my game as well, because what I'm doing, especially in long drive, we have to beat physics, and to beat physics we need to see data and crunch data. That's what I do all day long. All I do is I hit a ball and I look at right now I don't look at the speed number too much, but it's nice to have it, right? Nice to know it. It gets more important the closer I get to peaking. But right now I look at launch data, I look at the launch angle, I look at the spin rate, and that's what I want to see, right? And seeing that data and seeing good numbers is something that also transfers to your game on the course. And that's way more powerful. Seeing and getting a feedback after every ball is way more powerful than practicing at a driving range and all you see is a ball flight. You don't know how far that went. You don't know how far that went. You cannot tell how far that went. You cannot tell what spin rate that was, completely independent of using balls that are completely different to the ones you use when you play.
That is a massive thing as well, because I've got a video coming there with testing. I've done some testing on some other balls, but also I got some brand new super premium range balls, and I mean, they are garbage. That they are not, they don't reflect spin accurately all the time, and these are brand new. So when you're looking at these balls that have got 300 or 400 hits on them, and they've been collected in the outfield and washed, and the dimples start to rub away, it makes such a difference, right? So yeah, having the option
day
to
and
use,
night.
Yeah,
it's day and night. It's so interesting actually that people buy the newest driver and like take off 4 grams of their shaft weight and feel like it does wonders to their game. It can, but when you're playing these balls, it's you can rather roll a dice. It's exactly the same thing, because you don't know how that went. Absolutely not. And I mean, that's actually the biggest factor, especially for club fitting. Hitting a ball you also use in competition, or a premium ball at least you use, right? Because it reflects the correct spin rate.
correct.
When you do a club fitting outdoors with range balls, it's a completely different number, and it doesn't reflect what you do on course.
Yeah, so even that
why,
great fitting, even the great fitting that you have at a driving range with a poor ball, and you substitute in that good premium ball that you would normally use, and you could be, even with the best fitter in the world, nowhere near. And that's
absolutely.
yeah.
I know there's some algorithms for range balls that somehow calculate what would have happened and stuff, right? And I guess this stuff is getting better and better, yes, but it's nowhere close to hitting a proper ball.
No,
it's nowhere close.
And you put in that 400, you put that 400 pounds, that 500 euros out on that new driver. Do you want to trust an algorithm for that, or do you want to hit the real thing? I know where my money would be going every time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, what most people underestimate is temperature, because especially right now, outdoors, your swing is completely different, your speed is completely different, your muscles and everything reacts completely different to like 3 degrees Celsius, right? Compared to being at a studio at like 20 degrees. Completely different. And the question is, when you're a golfer that's only playing when it's like 3 degrees on winter greens, and you use super hard like driving range like balls at the course, then maybe a fitting at a low temperature at a driving range makes sense for you. But I don't think that's even a percent of the golfers out there, right? Maybe more in the UK, because you're using shorts at, like, you're wearing shorts at 5 degrees, right? Sometimes when I
Maybe
look at
Jordan Brooks does that.
Jordan Brooks does, yeah.
But no, all the same people do not know. It's several jackets and 2 pairs of trousers. Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever you look at, that's why I started this discussion with a statement. The only downside is there is always a perfect lie. Yes, there is, absolutely. But when did you practice a bad lie?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's really really interesting. So you've got some goals set for the coming season. I mean, obviously there's a great deal of unpredictability with whether we'll be allowed to travel soon. What are your personal goals for 2021, both professional and from a sports long drive point of view as well?
Yeah, well, my goals would have been completely different if you would have asked me like a year ago. Yeah, so right now I still, and that's my ultimate goal, and that doesn't change based on the year, is winning a world championship, right? And as soon as we can have a world championship, I know there's one planned for the end of September in Mesquite this year with the PLDA, the Professional Long Drivers Association. But right now, I cannot tell you if we're allowed to travel. That event is probably going to happen, right? Because the guys in the US, they're going to do it. They're going to push through it, I guess. But the question is that going to be a national event, or is it going to be an international one? Because I believe if there's no international field, you cannot call it a world championship. That would be a national championship, right? And well, I definitely want to win a world championship. I don't know if I'm going to play one this year, but if at a point of time, as soon as it's foreseeable what's going to happen, I'm going to work so hard to win that thing, definitely. And as I'm also running the European Long Drive Games with a team, my ultimate goal is still to grow the sport in Europe, to bring it back on TV. That's my ultimate goal, what I'm working on every day. I don't know when that's going to happen. There's a lot of factors that play into that, but I mean, it's the perfect show. It's not only a sport; it's a show. It doesn't take like 7, 8, 9 hours, just like a golf broadcast. Anyone who's not playing golf understands it in no time. A hits longer than B. A wins, right? There's no birdie, bogey, dogleg. People don't understand that, are not into golf. It's more like a darts atmosphere, right? People drink, people have fun in the back. I hope at some point we can have that again without masks and everything, right?
Yeah,
Just having
yeah.
a party and smash some balls. But call me pessimistic, but I don't see that coming in 2021, right? I think we have to deal with it for quite a long time. But I mean, as soon as this vaccine kicks in and we can have these events again, I'm the first guy that sets up something. So, I mean, these golf clubs are already asking Martin, in how much lead time do you need to set up an event? And I'm like, 24 hours. I'm just fill up my van, drive to that course, set everything up, and there we go, right? The problem right now is the traveling, as I said before. And in the long run, just growing the sport, bring long drive back on TV, win a world championship. That's my ultimate goal. And I don't care if it's going to be a 230 ball or a 225 ball or a 218 ball, because speed is amazing. Speed helps a lot to hit the ball far. And it also helps, or is important, or even more important right now, because there's so many people getting that fast. And well, the chance is pretty low that all of them have a bad day, right? So that's why gaining some speed in the long drive is crucial. But I don't care what speed I hit. I just want to hit it the furthest. And speed helps, but it's not everything, just as you know, Paul.
Oh yeah, I know all about it. Yeah, efficiency is king. Although it is nice to be fast for sure. Yeah. So, all right, great. So that was really insightful. Thanks very much, Martin, for coming on the show. I'm sure everyone's going to really appreciate your input in terms of the practice and the application of that speed. If you're not already, head over to Martin's Instagram page. It's at Martin Borgmeier. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Formerly Full Beard Long Drives.
Yeah, that changed a little because I was on a TV show in Germany last year in May, June, and July. And I mean, I ended up to win it. So that's why I thought in the very beginning, when I knew that that's going to come up and I knew how it went, right? I actually decided to rename my account so people can find me way easier. So
shameless plug.
That's why. But you like the Full Beard Long Drives. I know that one. Paul, thanks for having me.
Yeah, great stuff. Nice to see you again, Martin, and we'll see you again soon. Stay in touch.
Cheers. You have a good one.
All the best.